Are you choosing your life, or are you just reacting to it? Are your goals truly yours, or are you just reacting to the pain or the fear or the pleasure of your life? Like, are you who you are because of who you choose to be, or you are who you are because of your circumstances? That's what you're going to be looking at today. Hello, family. Thank you so much for clicking. I am your host, Diversified Wangari, and this is thepomindkepodcast. Podcast. And in today's episode, we're going to be looking at: are you acting or reacting to your life? In today's world, most of us are actually stuck reacting instead of choosing who we want to be. And in a sense, this somehow ruins our peace. It just ruins the equilibrium. Equilibrium. It ruins the equilibrium of our existence, of your thinking, like of just you being yourself. So you reacting is actually more of a trap, because it's like you don't feel like your decisions are yours. It's like you're making your decisions based out of what the environment is like, and not what you truly feel like. What excites you, can you make sense to you? And so because of that, you're going to be looking at that specific point. We're going to be looking at that specific point of when we get to choose if we're going to react or if we're going to be ourselves, despite the circumstances of our surrounding, despite the circumstances of our environment, be it hata kama ina suck, like, ukiangalia around you, whatever is happening around you is so disheartening, it's so exciting, and you're not feeling that way. I'm here to tell you. I'm also making this video to tell you and to show you that you have the freedom to choose who you want to be, as well as you have the freedom to define who you want to be despite the noise around you. Okay? So most of us in our lives, in our daily lives, we usually think that mimi niko hapa, I know what I'm saying, I know what I'm deciding, I know what it is that I want, right? But not really. Utapata most of the times you're making a decision based out of your partner's feelings, based out of whatever it is your parents are feeling, it's based out of your experience with your ex or whatever. Most of the time you find that these decisions that we make, because baby, every single moment in our lives, consciously or unconsciously, we get to make a choice. We get to pick, we get to decide what it is we want, whether it's obvious or not obvious. But either way, I want you to know, from the moment you wake up, it's you choosing to do what it is you want to do, despite the loudness, despite the exterior noise, despite what is happening outside you. So some of the reasons why you'd find that we are reacting instead of acting, it might be because of what our parents think about us, or whatever it is that your ex did, or what made them to leave, or what made you to leave, or whatever, right? Matter kama ni trauma, because it can be childhood trauma. Growing up, your circumstances were effed up. Those are some of the reasons why unapata, as life passes by, or as you go through life, you might find yourself reacting more than choosing. But the thing about reacting, sometimes it's super unconscious, especially if you're coming from a very tamcious background, and really you don't get time to think about yourself and think about what it is you need, because you're always putting other people's needs first. So you might find that the way you're moving through life, the way you're acting, is based on other people's pleasure, just for their own good, yeah, like you're never the reason, the point where you're making that decision. So because of that, and because I've been there, that's what I want us to look at today, because we are not going to be defined by our environment. You're going to be defined by who we are in the moment, and based on our character, of course. Okay? Kabla mniume. To be blunt, right? Reacting is not you being in control. It's actually your ego. Okay? Your ego, your pain, or your fear is in control of who you are. So, anyway, I'd like us to look at some of the few differences. Yeah. Okay. Okay. A few differences between acting and reacting, because sometimes you might think you know what is happening, but hata hauna clue kama mimi gay. When it comes to reacting, it's always automatic. You don't think about it, you're just jumping. You're not even like ready to process what it is that unasikia ama umeambiwa ama una feel. You just want to jump and prove your point. Compared to acting, when you're acting, you're a bit conscious, you're intentional. Even when someone is throwing a fit, or someone is just like being blatantly like rude to you, am I just being an asshole, right? When you're acting, first of all, you'll just take a moment. You won't even overreact. You're like, interesting. I did not know that's how you felt. Oh, kumbe, like you have the patience to listen and to chill, like how to overreact. So you're just gonna chill and listen to what it is that they're trying to say. So when it comes to reacting, most of the time it's usually driven by triggers. You're always reacting because you've been triggered. Someone has said something that doesn't make you happy, or something, just something. It may not have been even like targeted towards you, or you're just like in an environment where you're maybe with your boys or your homies or whatever, and you guys are just chilling, and then someone might say something that triggers you. Do you hear me? The term is triggers you. And because you are reacting, you've not even taken a moment to process, to get the context, if they're addressing you, or if they're talking about you, you blow up. You're like, oh, why would you talk to me like that? Why would you say that about me? Atamsakisama, something that maybe you've been struggling with, and it's not something that you're proud of, obviously, but they just like casually throw it into the conversation, like, oh, let me give you an example. Like, for instance, right? Someone might say, oh, I don't like slim chicks, and I'm slim, I'm petite or whatever, right? And they're like, oh, I don't like slim chicks. Slim chicks usually do this and this and this and this. If you're reacting, you'd be like, what do you mean slim chicks? Don't come up here and do blah blah and say whatever the fuck you want to say. I love myself, blah blah blah. You're trying to prove to this person why them saying whatever they said is such a mistake. And then you're acting and they say like, oh, whatever statement about a slim person. When you're acting, you just be like, oh, that's interesting. I actually never knew that about slim people. But now that you mentioned it, I'll actually look into it. But thank you so much for opening up my mind or whatever. Like, you're not offended and you didn't take it personally. Like, you were very intentional about how you responded and how you actually took that information. At the end of the day, you don't get offended unless when unachagua kukua offended. Triggers. So you being able to monitor and tell some of the things that trigger peer, you can be able to deal with this situation. So like I was saying, when it comes to you reacting, it's always emotional. It's never intentional. It's always just abrupt. It's impulsive. It's not thought out. Yes, it might be right. It might be appropriate for the setting, but you didn't actually take time to think if this is how you're going to react to the situation. I'm out to shout to. Just because you have a right to shout, then you're going to shout. I advise you don't. Pussy shout. Another difference between reacting and acting is that when you're reacting, you're very defensive and, like I said, impulsive. Because defensive, utaki kuambiwa, you're always right. Like I said, you have all the right to feel the way you're feeling. And just because you do doesn't necessarily mean that then you get to act out that emotion. You get to like go overboard because it is your right. right? And when you're being intentional, it's actually very your reactions are strategic, they're well thought out, you're intentional. Like, you won't overdo it because, first of all, you're a logical thinker. So of course you won't jump into conclusions. You're not gonna, even if yes they're the ones who are on the wrong and you're on the right, because you're acting, you're not gonna try and prove to them and be like, oh yeah, I knew it, I told you so, I was right. Like, no, it's not the case. And because now you're acting and you've seen that yes, you're deserving of being in the right or whatever, then you auto overdo. You won't overdo it. You'll just be content with it. So subtle. Like, have you met those people, especially at the club, and you guys are chilling? Okay, sasa club in the first example. Imekuja juu kwanza leo ni weekend. Hey, where we going, guys? Anyway, so for instance, maybe you're just out, right? You're out, you're doing whatever it is you need to be doing, and this person, they're interacting maybe with the staff or just like customer service providers, and they're very kind, they're very subtle. Ataseme, you've ordered, you've eaten, you've finished whatever it is you're eating, alafu the bill comes, right? Alafu kwa bill upate the math is not mathing, ama they've added or not, they've subtracted some of the things that you guys have indulged in or not, right? And instead of you being an asshole and being like, oh my god, I'm paying for all this, where is, why didn't you write a correct list, why didn't you write a correct receipt, you can just be like, oh hi, sorry, the information I'm seeing on the receipt is not how it makes sense, so how can you go about it, and if you're going to correct it, please do that. They're usually very subtle. There are people who are very subtle when it comes to correcting mistakes. Am I just dealing with issues? I won't say issues, but mishaps. They're very subtle, casual. They don't overreact. No, anafikiria, solve your problem kama amesonga. Like, hata kuwa dramatic about it, aanze kutukana mwenye leta food, ama mbona mliandika hivi, aanze kutukana like the facility and the service and everything. No. No, that's what we call reacting. The final difference between acting and reacting is that when you're reacting, you're controlled by the situation. Just like I said, you're controlled by the situation. Your environment is what gets to determine how you're feeling, how you're acting, how you're behaving. It's getting to set the mood, the trend of how you should be. And I really do not agree with that. Because, anyway, a very good example, you might be driving. Road rage. That's a very good example. I don't think in Kenya we have like crazy instances of road rage. Yes, I know they're there, like, of course, because it's not like our country is perfect, but hey, the videos that I've seen za watu wenye wako US about road rage, tuko kwa traffic stop, unataka kunitolea gun we gun ni serious hivyo ish, na ni tu maybe I just cut you off badly, ama okay, see badly, but yeah, okay, badly I cut you off like abruptly and everything. Sasa unaona hiyo, just being able to deal with that emotion and just not taking it out of proportion, because shit happens. You can't trust everyone on the road. In fact, actually, when ukiwa driving school and I'm going, don't trust anyone on the road. Just trust yourself. Wewe peke yako ndio uko right. And based on that, just because just because someone has done wrong, ama amekuingia vibaya, does not necessarily mean that sasa ni fight. It does not necessarily mean that sasa ni fight, ati sasa ni war, ati let's roll our sleeves and see who's stronger here. Guys, can you grow up? Can we grow up? Like, not everything, not all not all discourses need violence to settle them. Like, I needing your drama yote. We can just talk and be like, okay, pole, sawa, only flash your lights. I'm sorry, uta mkono, oh, I'm sorry. Nani sawa, to move on. See drama. Sasa tutakimbishana, wanza kuningia vibaya, nini. Hadi saa ngapi? Guys, that's what we call reacting. That's what I'm saying no to. No reacting. We are not going to react to our circumstances. We're choosing the kind of people that we want to be, despite the loudness happening outside us or around us. Okay, compared to when you're acting, because when you're acting, you're in control. You're not reacting. You're intentionally making a decision. You're intentional about how you're going to handle the situation before it gets blown, okay, out of proportion. So the difference between the two, when you're reacting, of course, you're not in control of the situation. You just want to Paragasha. You are the one who's controlled by the situation, and when you're acting, you're the one who's in control of the situation. You are the one. Wewe ndo una decide utareact aje. Si kenye imefanyika ndo ina determine venye utareact. Okay, after being able to determine the differences between acting and reacting, I'd like us to look at some of the ways that we can be able to deal with performance issues, because acting and reacting is just based on performance. Like you can mask over there, how are you performing? Like, how are you showing up in life? Are you performing, or are you just existing, or are you performing to exist? Yeah, before I get into all that, it's very unfortunate what is happening in Sudan. Sudan is just our neighbor here, and they're being mass displaced, they're being killed, they're being tortured, they're being mistreated by the RSF, all because they're being paid by the UAE because of the gold, blah blah blah, gold reserves, blah, 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 blah. And based on that, it just shows you how even your own people, someone who you might call a brother or a neighbor, someone who you exist with in the same soil, in the same area, in the same ground, in the same surrounding. These are the same people who are coming for you and killing you and displacing you, burning your homes, raping you, doing all these crazy things because they've been paid by UAE, to be precise. RSF is funded by the UAE because most of the exports that are coming from Sudan is gold, okay? Towards Yabo. So all this is not for nothing. They're just trying to preserve these resources that they're trying to get from our African countries. And I feel like because it's 2025, we are smarter now as African people. We see these games that these foreigners are trying to play in our own land, and we actually are not. I'm not up for it. You're not up for it. No one is up for it. And I think that's why most of many Kenyans, many Africans right now, when you meet with them, as we speak, South Africa has a movement going on right now about femicide and gender-based violence. It's been peaking like crazy for the past few months, and you cannot even compare the rate with the global rate, because okay, what's happening in South Africa is so bad. So many women are being killed 5 to 6 times. Okay, 5 to 6 times the global number that women are being killed, like worldwide. In South Africa is 5 to 6 times worse. So you can imagine how many more women are being killed, and no one is doing anything about it. So I think in November 20th, about around the 20th or the 19th, I'm not so sure, one of those days, the G20 summit is going to be happening in South Africa, and because of the circumstances, or because of the situation in South Africa right now, there's going to be a march. There's going to be a mandamano for femicide, for GBV, for standing up for women. Because okay, first of all, I have a question. What's going on, men? Issues ziko wapi? What's the issue? What's up? Are you threatened by women? Like, what's going on? Is it the fact that men are much stronger, much everything, whatever, they're men, obviously. So kuna hiyo argument ya, men come fast, blah 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 blah, they're the strongest, they're the what, but men are the protectors, they're the providers, not even before tufike kwa providing, right? Men are the protectors of this society. So if you're not protecting the society, if you're not protecting your family, you're not protecting your sister, you're not protecting like your homestead, your area of influence, what are you doing? Whoa. what are we doing? You, as the protector, you're the one who's turning your back and digging your claws, and you're the ones who sasa unaonanga venye ile msemo ya Kiswahili ya do not let, hata si Kiswahili but English, don't let the fox in the hen house. Kumbe the fox is in your family. The fox is part of the hen house. Like, it's not funny, but the fox is part of the hen house, and that's so discouraging. It's so disappointing because us as women, right, we can do so much. Yes, we can go to work and earn our own things and do our own thing, but at the end of the day, we are not men. We cannot do what men do. We are not men, do you know? So the fact that you're not men, you cannot do some of the things that men do. At some point, but did say at some point we'll need men. Okay, it's not like we don't need men, but we need you. But the way you're treating us as women right now is just crazy. Because initially, the whole point of marriage or being in a partnership like that was because of provision, a sense of security, and also a sense of like, it was like a social status, right? To show that you're married, wewe ni Mrs. Who, ama Mr. Who, whatever family, and then you pick the guy's name or whatever, right? That was the whole point of getting married, because then that provide that a sense of security. You won't have to toil for yourself, you won't have to struggle so much, because you're like, somehow you've been protected in this kaka bubble over here, yeah, family. But these days, I do not know where that security has gone. Like, at our marriage itself does not offer us the sense of security that we used to get kitambo. And I don't think that the whole point of marriage was a sense of security, but in terms of, it was just for partnership, right? And in the age that we are in today, right? Like, in the age we're in today, women are doing most of the things that many, like, women in the previous years, in the previous times, hawangeza kufanya, kama kuvote, kwenda kazi, own companies, driving cars, running a family. Because see, these days are single moms, like the single parent homes that are very successful, with successful kids, successful families, and it's just a single parent home. Kitambo ungeza kuhavyo conversation na a mzee or an older lady, mwambie ati unajua mwanaume wangu amenisumbua ama mke wangu amenisumbua, so I'm going to raise the kid alone, ama the kids alone. Wataangalia like, alone? What do you mean alone? But now we're in a time that women are able to attain some of the things that men used to get for them, because hakukuwa na hiyo freedom and everything. But as I say, we have the freedom. We're twice as learned, earning more, we're able to chase our careers, we are knowledgeable, like siko baya, but it's getting to a point where we're seeing that we don't have to deal with the BS that comes with being with a man, because by the way, being with a man is an extreme sport, no offense. It's an extreme sport. I was not looking to have another child, hata sina mtoto, but all of a sudden niko na mtoto, guys. There's this statement that says a successful man is an everyday woman, an average woman. A successful man is an average woman. So what does that tell you, guy? I'm stressing because I'm not even married yet. I'm not even like, sijafika your point ya kwanza kufikiria, oh, I should be married and everything, because kwa ground, guys, mnanishtua. Like, literally every day when I wake up, I find a good reason why I should not be married or why I should not get a kid. Anyway, hapa nimeongea sana. Some of the ways that you'd use to get back to acting instead of reacting, right? First of all, you get to build your self-awareness. Nashinanga nikiinsist on your point ya ku build self-awareness. Mnaona ni jokes. Mnafikiri ni jokes. Si jokes. It's not a joke. First of all, you need to pause before anything, before you start reacting, before you whatever has been said, before you start, just pause, take a moment, listen, internalize, think about it, and be like, how do I feel like I should go about this? Take a moment, breathe in and breathe out. before you start being like, ndio pana, huwezi niambia hivyo. I know you've met those kinds of people. Ama your friends, ama like your friends with those kinds of people, ama you know those kinds of people that hata mtu aseme nini, hata kani word moja, it's going to go off. It's going to go off for hours. Like hata wazima moto, they ain't got nothing on that conversation. So you might as well just avoid it altogether, right? Pausing before you respond is very crucial. Itakusaidia hata kama mtoto kwa amesema the most kitu yenye unaweza scan kwa utamshika hivi umnyonge. Umnyonge umtupe huko. Just take your time and hold it and just because you're acting, you have some decorum. Kama tungekuwa tuna react, tungekurukia hadi hapa kwa shingo, my friend. The second thing you should do is to name your feelings. Name how you're feeling. Name how you're feeling. Are you sad? Are you hungry? Like, because when you get to name how you're feeling, it somehow reduces the way you're going to react, some of the way you're going to show up. Because already unajua, uko conscious about it, you're self-aware. You're like, okay, I'm hungry. And because I'm hungry and I've not eaten anything, mtu akiniangelesha vibaya ama akinikanyaga sasa inaweza mng'oa kichwa. So, and because I know that, hata msee akidioshi utakuwa tu like, you just look at them and just look away until you eat. And then you get back to your normal self, then fine. But at least the fact that you've been able to name how you're feeling, or whatever it is you're feeling, it somehow takes away the pressure. It takes away the unconscious responsiveness when it comes to when someone is trying to interact with you. So it takes away the unconsciousness because already ushajua nasikia njaa ama nishachoka ama I'm sleepy. So at least from that point utakuwa najua naweza act up vibaya, so acha tu ni maintain. The third thing, tracking your triggers. We just mentioned this a few moments ago, but tracking your triggers is very crucial. Tracking your triggers, it actually sounds redundant, but you really do need to learn and to get to know what your triggers are, because first of all, you're not perfect, you're not Jesus Christ, and you're not supernatural. You're just a human like everyone else, like every one of us. So you might as well just take time to get to know yourself. And that's when we were saying, be your friend, get to know yourself, get to learn yourself. Then utajua kama unachoma or not, and you'll get to know if kama unachoma or not based on how you're behaving and reacting, and how people are reacting to you about you. So if you're triggered ama you have triggers zenye unajua zenye mtu akisema ama akifanya inafanya you lose your mind, at least you're conscious and you're self-aware about it. So when it comes to play out, itakuwa like something new. Itakuwa like, oh my god, it's not like you didn't see it coming. At least you knew your triggers. So hata kama you didn't see it coming, when you're attacked ama when it's, when you're triggered, you won't, how would I take it personally? Itakuwa tu like, ni sawa tu. Anyway, I know my triggers. Najua hata the fact that umesema, oh, she's a late comer, niseme late comer juu by the keep time is a problem. Like, to me, oh, she's a late comer. Niko tu like, if I know it's my trigger that yes, I am a late comer, na mtu akisema, oh, Wangari is usually a late comer, instead of me being like, oh my god, unasema mimi ni late comer, how dare you, who do you think you are, no, I will. So those kinds of people. So now when you know your trigger is maybe okay, you're not so good with keeping time. So hata msee akisema, oh, but then, hata Wangari keeping it time, she's always a late comer, nini. And because in your head, at the back of your mind, unajua trigger yangu ni kukuwa late, ama msee akisema, oh, girl is a late comer, utakuwa yeah, you know what, yeah, I'm a late comer, I don't keep time, whatever. And because you know that, you have it at the back of your sina kisogo, but your head, right? You put it at the back of your mind. So hata mtu akisema hautakuwa triggered, you won't even have the energy for that. You're just going to be like, oh, okay, cool. Because you already know unakuanga late kama hata mtu akisema utakuwa tu ni sawa, I knew it. So ama then what? You know what I mean? Fourth thing is learning how to regulate your nervous system, because there's no way you can learn how to act without you being able to know what's happening in your body and in your mind. And when I say in your body or in your mind, I genuinely mean like you need to take deep breaths. Like, listen to your body. Because when you're anxious, you feel it in your tummy. When you're uncomfortable, you feel it in your throat. I mean, you start feeling uncomfortable, like, it's like you start becoming restless. Those are some of the things that you're talking about. Being able to regulate your nervous system. So, unaweza pata, kuna mse anaweza the most unhinged thing. Yeah, it's very viable. Kama ungeweza umruke kutoka hapa hadi the next table. Hata ukifanya hivyo, watu watakuwa like, yeah, we understand, we get it, okay, we understand. Hapo amechoma. But when you're able to regulate your emotions, you just take a moment, take a deep breath. It sounds so redundant. I actually wanted to just say, take a deep breath, take your time. I just ever think, just look around, see what makes sense to you, because there's some people who have like crazy emotions, who are super super impulsive, or there are people who are just manze ukimtrigger nivo, the night is over ama the day is over, because they're gonna cause chaos. You knowing them is like, it feels like you're walking on eggshells. But anyway, that's a whole other point. In short, you get to learn your body, know how you feel. Like, jijue unafeel aje, at what time, why, where, how, jijue. Be your listener, be your person. Okay, before you look for another person to be your person out there, be your person. Some of the just minute helpful skill yenye unaweza tumia is by naming what it is that you see in your environment. So it can be just maybe this purple wall, this pink cushion, just some of the things. Like, you start naming some of the things that unaziona in your environment, like physical environment, out loud, so that it brings you back to the now. Before ung'oe kitu, ati ung'oe kitu before ung'oe mtu kichwa. A very good example, by the way, is this. Recently, I had gone for like a meeting over there. Okay, say meeting. We're just hanging out like friends and stuff. And then this is someone new. I've not interacted with them before. This is the first time we're meeting, right? And they're like, oh, hi, my name is blah, blah, blah. And they're like, what's your name? I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, oh, cool. Nice to meet you. And as we were getting to know each other, as we were having this conversation, and they're like, oh, tell me about you, blah, blah, blah. And then, of course, you're just going to give them an idea of who you are. Not who you think you are, but who you are. Not just who you think you are. But there's no thinking. You're giving a precise of excerpt of who you are. See who you think you are, of who you are. And, of course, if you're maybe someone who's subtle, intentional, you don't like, you're an introvert or an extrovert. So of course, like, those are the kinds of details in your unaanza kushare hapo. And as I progress with my life and everything, for me, but the intentionality is such a big deal. Like, nimesema hivyo nikakumbuka venye alikuwa nataka kwanza kunichachishia. So anyway, like I just said, intentionality for me is a big deal. So it's not how you do it, ama when you do it. It's the why. For me, it's always the why. It's not the how and the when. It's the why. The why is what is so crucial to me. Like, why are you doing it? What is the intention behind it? So anyway, so I was just like, oh, for me, it's just intentionality. Intentionality is very important to me. I go, intentionality. Akaanza, unajua mimi sipendangi madem kwanza anatumianga the word intentionality. Ati hao madem anatumianga hiyo word intention. Nikaja shit. I'm like, kwani ni mbaya? Sikukuwa najua kuko intentionally mbaya. So anyway, ati madem wanasemanga series za intention, ogopa. Niko tu, ogopa nini? Kwani unaogopa nini? So he was trying to trigger me, like alikuwa try to kunichokoza, like he was just trying to poke me. He's like, oh, mademo intentionality, wakona sijui nini. Like, he's just trying to make me feel some type of way. But because I was so but I am. But because I'm so in tune with myself and I know what makes sense to me, and I know myself, right? I know. And because I know myself, so I didn't feel like the need of trying to prove to him and be like, no, intentionality doesn't mean that. No, it's not like that. I didn't even have the time to explain. I didn't even have the energy. I was just like, oh, that's what you think about chicks or whatever who talk about intentionality, then it's sour. Whomst I? Like, who am I to argue? I'm just a person living their own life. I just met you today. Like, sisirasivo. So the way I just like I didn't bite the bait. Yeah, akitry kuni trigger. So he was really thrown off. Akutu, hey, na kwani mbona hauko triggered? Hiyo swali ilinishtua kidogo. Because what do you mean mbona siko triggered? So all along, imagine tukihave conversation alikuwa anatry kunitrigger. And that's why, by the way, ladies, actually, let's have this conversation right now. Whenever you're interacting with a man, with anyone else aside from yourself, just be true to yourself. Because you might mean well, you might mean, hauna ubaya, right? But the person who's coming at you anaweza kuwa na ubaya, all the ubaya in the world, ama hata anaweza kuwa tu na some ulterior motives, but because they do, and wewe unajijua sana, haitaku affect. Like, you won't be bothered. You won't, like, your existence, your personality, your presence is not going to be affected by what they think and how they behave. So that's why I keep on telling you, get to know yourself, get to know what makes sense to you. Drew, ukishajijua hakuna mtu anaweza like, you cannot be shaken if you're in it. Ukiwa na upepo, ukiwa na so much havoc and so much noise is happening around you, you're not going to be shaken, because your foundation and the roots that you've put, like, in yourself go deep. They're not just like superficial. It's not just about saving face or whatever. Like, they run deep na zimegrab hiyo mchanga. Zile like, hata kama mtanisukuma mtanipata nimesimama tu hapa. Okay, hata kama ukiwa na hiyo Hurricane Katrina, we'll still be here standing because our roots are running deep. Okay? The fifth thing that you should be doing is learning how to challenge your reactive patterns. And this comes along with the fact that ukishajua trigger zako, right? When narrowing it down a little bit deeper, a little bit more into detail, where that you're focusing on your reactions, you're focusing on your habits, you're focusing on how you show up, because most of your reactions are based out of habit. Okay, unaweza pata most of the time ati mtaki kwamba kweli. There's some people who, when you try and tell them, it's not like ati you're being mean or you're trying to be malicious, but you're just giving them like constructive criticism. They get so offended, they're just like, why would you say that? It's like you broke their hearts. It's like you but you might find that those kinds of people, not many people around them wamezoea kuambia like what they're thinking, the truth about whatever it is they're asking about or whatever, right? So you might find that they are like wako environment yenye hawajazoea kuambia ukweli. So ukimwambia ukweli, wendo uko on the wrong, wendo umechoma. And you might find the reason why that they are blowing up, they're trying to overreact the way they are reacting, is just because hawajazoea kuambia ukweli. Na sasa juu wewe umewambia ukweli, then it's a wrap. You're the enemy, you're the worst, you've done this. And I feel like sasa those kinds of reactions are based out of habit. And now that you're consciously aware of those two habits and the way that you're used to reacting based on different situations, maybe when you're angry, hurt, okay, for instance, you're in a relationship, right? You umekosana na your partner because umezoea kukua ama shut down ama just just going quiet and giving them silent treatment. Then that's how you behave every single time whenever you guys have a disagreement or whatever. Basi end up when umempatia silent treatment. I feel like at this point it has become a habit. Juu sasa it's not like something new. Hata sema tu kitu yote tu akukosea, hata kama ni kitu ndogo sana aje, already ushampatia silent treatment. Hiyo ni habit, okay? That's a habit. And the best way to get rid of these two habits that you're feeling and thinking and trying to overcome is to just change your mind, change your mindset, change how you think, change how you react. And that's why we said, like, when you're able to keep track of your triggers and how you react to circumstances and specific things, then you'll know how to behave when hata mtu akisema kitu yenye si pleasing to your ears ama it's contrary to whatever it is you're thinking or feeling. Like, you'll know how to behave. You won't go overboard, and you won't make yourself look like a fool just because you're trying to prove a point or just trying to act out your right of how you feel. Ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? What is this feeling trying to showcase to me? Because most of the time when you are triggered, una feel some type of way because of what someone else has done or said or behaved. It's usually like an internal thing. It's a problem. It's a thing in your experience. I mean, it's something that you've not really solved. You need to notice when your ego is in control. You need to notice, like, when your ego is trying to tell you, is trying to control how you feel or what it is that you want. Because at the end of the day, the ego focus on, am I being scared? Like, am I scared? Am I afraid of being liked or being hated? Like, what exactly is it? Because the ego gets to determine how you behave. And most of the time, ego it's fed by three things. Are you afraid of being left out? Are you afraid of not being liked? Or do you just want to be powerful? Because the ego is very weird and it's very superficial, by the way. But the thinking and feeling and the being from an egocentric point of view is very shallow for me. And now that we have been able to define those kinds of situations, the best thing is just try and observe. Okay? Observe the situation. You don't have to indulge in it, but just observe. Witness the situation, see how it's playing out. Based on that, make a knowledgeable decision. Wacha ku add fuel to the fire. Acha kuongeza moto, okay? Already the fire is too hot and you want to add more fuel. Unataka kuongeza paraffin. You want us to die. Just witness the situation without trying to be emotionally involved. Okay, just be logical about it. Just be an observer. Don't give it any labels. Just observe. Be an observer. Lean towards any side, be it positive or negative. Just observe. Be neutral about the whole situation. Usianze hapo kukua Judge Judy, please. Okay, just observe the situation and then see how it plays out without having to merge with whatever is happening around you emotionally. So the other thing is, you need to redefine what power is to you. This comes in when you're trying to react. Okay, reactivity is not power, baby. You reacting is not power. Okay, you reacting is not power, babes. In fact, it can even just take away the power. It's actually disempowering, because most of the time, when it comes to a very good example, a very good strong emotion like anger inakwanga, so like it is a kind of validation. Yeah, alikuwa amejam, that's why alishout. Ama alikuwa amejam, that's why like ali throw fists and everything, right? Like anger ina creating yoli where why someone should overreact. They should just, like, they have the right to go overboard, but not really. Because if you're a conscious person or someone who's just like and understand how relationship dynamics works, sometimes being angry and being overt about it and showing it and throwing your hands and everything is actually quite disempowering compared to it being seeming empowering. It's very disempowering because, first of all, you seem like you're crazy. You can't even control your emotions. You can't control how you're feeling. You can't control how you're communicating to others. So somehow it just takes away a good perception of you. Like, it takes away like your sense of control. Like, hata mtu akiangalia kwa like, umse hata haizi control emotions zake, kwani umse hayuko poa, those are the kinds of things. Okay, angry, si lazima uonyeshe kila mtu ati uko angry by shouting ama sijui throwing things, flipping the table, all that. Na. Actually, silence sometimes is very powerful. Silence is very powerful, and not every action actually deserves a sense of defense. Learn to be okay not being right, because I feel like most of the conversations, not a conversation, but most of the arguments is always about I'm right. I said this and this happened. It's always about being right. And one thing I came to notice, to learn, when you're in a relationship, it's either you are right, you get to choose if you want to be right or you want to be in a relationship. But you can't have both ways. Finally, the last thing you can do is anchor yourself in self-respect. Self-respect is not given, it's earned, and you earn it from yourself by doing what it is you promised yourself to do. So whenever you set goals or whatever, goals, just things that you tell yourself you're gonna do, the best way you're going to earn yourself some self-respect is by doing them, by having boundaries, just like treating yourself so well, the same way you'd be treating, like the same way you'd treat someone else who's not you. Because of course, si kama ni mtu mwingine, you're going to be kind to them, you'll care about what they think, blah blah blah, like you'll have that courtesy. So you might as well have that courtesy when you're getting to know yourself, when you're getting to love yourself, when you're getting to interact with yourself. That's the same kind of courtesy like you should definitely have for yourself. And this is because most of the time reaction you reacting is based on, it's usually tied to insecurity. Yeah, usiniume, I'm just saying the truth. Most of the time unataka kuargue na mimi, it's because you're reacting because of your insecurity. Hata mimi, like, I've had those moments when I'm reacting and it's because I'm trying to prove something, blah 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 blah, but it's because deep down you're insecure. Because kama ulikuwa unajua ama it is your truth, ama that's how you feel, you won't feel the need to try and prove to everyone that this is how I feel, this is how it's been, no, because your truth is your truth, and that's more than enough. So we jua unajua kweli, si lazima ati watu wengine who have kwa explain ati I went here, I did this, blah blah blah. No, like the confidence that you get from just you knowing the truth is more than enough, and that's just perfect, because hakuna mtu atakupeleka mahali. You're the one who gets to determine how you feel, when you move, where you go to. Like, when do I decide? That's just like the best gift. And finally, let your energy speak more than your words. Okay, let your like we said, intentionality, that's what we just mentioned. Like, it's so crucial. It might seem so minute, but it's so crucial, because before your words get to come out of your mouth, or before you even get to open your mouth and express yourself by your words, people get to feel your presence, they get to feel you and see you. Okay, because when you walk into a room, they don't see your words first. They don't get to hear your words first. The first thing they see is you, your presence, how you carry yourself, how you're behaving, how you're acting. So if you're very content and you're very in tune with the kind of person that you are, I do not think that you're going to have a problem with trying to convince people the kind of woman or the kind of person that you are and all that, right? Don't outsource your peace. Okay? Don't outsource your peace. Do not. I repeat. Do not. Okay? Do not outsource your peace. And this means that you have to create the peace within you before you start going outside, before you start going out of yourself, right, to look for that peace, to look for that peaceful partner, the peaceful job, the peaceful place to live, the peaceful activities or hobbies that you want to take part in, the peace that you're trying to look for, right? You have to become it. You have to become it first. You have to be the source of that peace before you start going out looking for it. Because you might start looking for the peace outside. Start to say, maybe you find your peace in someone. If it might be your therapist or your best friend or your family member somewhere, right? These are the people that give you peace. And one day, one moment, right, they're unavailable. They're outside the country. They're just indisposable, right? What are you going to do? Are you going to crash out now because your peace is outside you? Are you going to be unlike yourself now that your peace is outside you? So those are the kinds of things that we really need to take note of, because at the end of the day, it has to start with you. You can't just, these are not things that you go find outside you. You'll find outside you after you've created that peace within yourself. You attract what you are. So if you're not peaceful, trust you me, you're not going to attract a peaceful person. And if you're peaceful, you're going to attract a peaceful person. So you being aware of yourself and your qualities and your values and your character, it's inasaidia sana juu when you step out, you're able to know like your boundaries, where you end. You're able to know where you end and where another person begins. So yeah, with all that yapping, thank you so much for listening in. And nimekuhata guy, I need to pull up my socks kidogo, sindio? Nimekuhata, and I hope you've enjoyed the podcast. If you have any other questions, I mean, you have other points zenye unaweza penda ku add on zenye sija touch on, please feel free to add them down on the comment section below. And here's to us having a good, lovely weekend, okay? Until the next time, thank you so much for watching. I am your host, Diversified Wangari. And until the next episode,